Hi, it's Darnell with Way Over Recipes, and today I'm going to be trying my almond flour brownie recipe, but this time I'm going to be adding a little whole wheat flour to the mix to try and give them a little more of a firmer consistency so that when I'm taste testing things, we don't have a risk of things kind of like falling apart. Even though you use some guar gum, they might not stick together too well. So trying the almond flour brownie with a little whole wheat flour in there to see how that turns out. I'm going to be cooking that up in the Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry oven. And so let's get cooking right now. So there's quite a few ingredients for this recipe, and so I'm going to go through them all with you. I'm going to start with the dry ingredients. I've got 1.5 cups of blanched almond flour here. I've got 1/2 a cup of whole wheat flour there. I've got 1/4 cup of granulated sweetener. That's a erythritol monk fruit blend. It comes in white or gold, and they just so happen to have gold no sale when I bought it that day. That's why it's got a brown color to it. Usually it might be white, but usually granulated sweetener of your choice. Got 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Got 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. For the wet ingredients, I've got 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 large eggs. Going to be using 1/4 cup of raw honey there, and I've got 1.5 sticks of butter here that I'm going to be using also. That's been melted, obviously. And I'm going to be spraying the baking pan with some extra light olive oil that's in this sprayable bottle here. So what I'm going to do to start, I'm going to mix the wet and dry ingredients into separate bowls. So I've got everything mixed up in the 2 bowls. I've sprayed the baking pan with the extra light olive oil, and so now I'm going to go ahead and mix the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. So now that I've got my brownie batter all mixed together, I'm going to go ahead and spread it out into the baking pan. Alright, got things all spread out into the bake pan here. I've got a rack on rack level number 3, so putting the bake pan up there and turning the cooker on and going over to the bake function. So now that I'm on bake, basically going to leave it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Going to even leave the time at 30 minutes. And just going to go ahead and hit start there. Whoops, that's not start. That's the on off button. Let's go back to bake, which is already at the settings we want of 30 minutes and 350, and hit start. That's the start button. And so we'll let that cook for a while, and I'll bring you on back. So I've let things go for the full 30 minutes, and we're going to see what we have in here. And there's our completed brownie. Top of it feels decent, no like batter uncooked. So I think things turned out pretty well. Here you can have a look. I'm going to set it to the side for a while and let it cool down. So I've let things set and cool for maybe 20 to 30 minutes or so. So I'm going to go ahead and try and get a piece out and see how things go trying to do that. Definitely slicing through really moist. Feels really moist going in. See if I can get this piece here out. It's still kind of hot, so I don't want to mistakenly burn myself. Pretty big piece there. So there we go. You see the inside of it. It's all cooked. So we'll set that down there. Seems like it's breaking away in some respects. But we'll see how it, yeah, I guess it's holding together a little better than using just the almond flour, even when you use extra guar gum. So gonna go ahead and do a taste test. So thank God for a brownie, and let's do a taste now. It's holding together. Could have definitely used some water with that. So basically, it came out a little firmer as far as holding together to pick it up when it's still really hot and warm, which is pretty cool. Overall, it's, I guess, since it has the wheat flour, it's not as dense. It's a little less dense than the brownie with just all almond flour. I think really you could go either way. I mean, I guess I can't say that. I mean, this one's good, the other one's good, but this one holds together a little more. But it's not like it's fantastically better tasting than the other one either. So you could really go either way, but this one does hold together a little better, which is pretty nice to not have your warm brownie falling apart or having to wait till it's totally cool and firmer to, you know, be able to eat it without it falling apart. This is pretty nice. So the Ninja Foodi did a decent job cooking things up, and so the recipe worked out well. So it's something that you may want to try as well. And so this is an alternative to having any white flour in your brownie. This one does have gluten in it though. For you who want gluten-free, you can stick with the just pure almond flour brownie. I've done that cook with other cookers and other recipe videos here on the channel, and other almond flour and alternative flour type cooks as well. Now, in the video description, there's lots of ways to help the channel, such as donations, merch, memberships, all that good stuff. Also, link to the Amazon shop where you can buy the cooker, pay the same price, help the channel. Also, my cookbook. Also, you can always check out the blog, and I'll have a printable version of the recipe, a link to that in the video description as well. The blog is superwaveovenrecipes.com. With all that said, if you did like the video, please do give it a thumbs up, share the video with a friend, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification icon, and good eating.